Are my comments in this thread. Okay, thanks for reinstating my account. And front page commenting guidelines that I already read. I've added some new content that I wanted to cover in this video. And that is my most recent arguments, for which the moderator grudgingly gave me my account back. He said they seemed to make more sense, even though he didn't really agree with them or like them. Here's the best one, I think. It's the most intelligible. And this was in Why Destructive Value Capture. So let's go to that article and see what that's about. So this article is sort of talking about the sale price of movie tickets and how our sales model and system is inefficient. And I wrote a simple proof for how to solve the problem. And I guess people downvoted it. I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's a little surprising. But there are lots of dumb people, even on LessWrong, who might not understand this. So, let's see what happens. So far, nothing happens. I just get a waiting sign. This really does look like a bigger, sort of more complex censorship effort. But it's entirely possible this is random technical glitches that just disproportionately affect me because I'm advancing a topic outside the general consensus. So outsiders suffer this, maybe. People who are insiders probably do not suffer this eternal waiting bar here. Can I reload it? Maybe I need to go back. Alright, well, let's just read the comments then. See if I can do that. Why destructive value capture? Oh, now it gets me to the page. Okay, well, that works anyways. So this is somebody else who also got a lot of downvotes, I think. I got a lot of pushback from suggestions that there is a way for theaters to improve their customer experience and value proposition at low cost. The pushback didn't argue, blah, blah, blah. The pushback also didn't raise reasonable arguments. Instead, everyone argued that unless they were forced to do so, theaters shouldn't implement the suggestion because it would cost them money. This guy sounds like he got downvoted a lot more than me for this whole article. The proposition creates value. One comment from $1.79 in customer time is saved in ad revenue. So these are his arguments. That's interesting and weird. Kind of how I feel. Interesting and weird. Can't raise price. If you're charging 50, then destroying $1.15 value to generate 0.5. Why aren't you just doing that instead of charging 15? What might stop this from being a good solution? So we go on to a number of analysis, which is all good. Don't want to put it down. But it's all really inside the box thinking. He's limiting himself to pricing in dollars of currency. And it looks like click and hold for strong upvote. I'll do that. I'll click it once. But it looks like my comment is still censored here. I thought it was there earlier. Can I go back and try this one more? For a while, it seemed like I had the comment. Yes, there it is. Can you charge different prices to people based on their income? Theaters can make a lot more money by charging more to rich people and less to poor people. Suppose the movie is sold as the same 0.5-hour value to 3 moviegoers. One moviegoer makes $10 per hour and will not pay more than $5 to see the movie. One moviegoer makes $50 per hour and will not pay more than $25 to see the movie. One moviegoer makes $200 per hour and will not pay more than $100 to see the movie. Question: if the movie theater is not allowed to change its price for the movie, then what is the most profitable price for the movie theater to set for the movie tickets? Multiple choice answer. 1. Ticket price says $5 for the movie ticket. The movie theater sells 3 tickets and gets $15 revenue. Option 2. Ticket price says $25 for the movie ticket. The movie theater sells only 2 tickets and gets $50 revenue. Option 3. The ticket price says $100 for the movie ticket. The movie theater sells only one ticket and gets $100 revenue. 4. Ticket price says 0.5 hours for the movie ticket. The dollar price is calculated based on the dollar per hour rate of each individual ticket buyer. One ticket sells for $5, one ticket sells for $25, and one ticket sells for $100. The movie theater gets $130. Everyone sees the movie. No destructive value capture, economic inequality is reduced, and the theater makes the most money. So, there's a lot of other comments. Mine may most likely get lost. Dagon is interesting. He's a key sort of leader at this group, and I hope he reads and comments. I've got 2 votes. I think they're up. I think that's good. I don't know. Other people have more. There's 4 there. So that's that. What's the other comment I made? Weak arguments against universal prior being aligned. Now this one really is off topic, and I'll admit that. I didn't read the main article. I skim read the main article, and the article has lots of links to prior reference reading materials, so I would know exactly what they mean by a prior. And they also talk about, they use words in weird ways. Indecipherable to me. I feel like the moderator, only I don't censor things. I try to understand them and use my curiosity, unlike the moderator. Anyways, as one commenter pointed out, if you assume the prior has a computational cost versus computational benefit criteria for communicating or gathering data or sharing data, then doesn't that strongly limit the types of data and data specifics that the prior would be interested in? One commenter pointed out it may be less expensive to simulate some things in the prior channel than create an actual new channel, simulation. We can categorize information that a prior would most efficiently transmit and receive across a specific channel into profitable and non-profitable types of information. Non-profitable information is less expensive to discover or produce without opening a channel. Profitable information for the channel may be limited to specific kinds of first principle information. To use an analogy, humans don't engage in building large-scale simulations to try and learn something simple. They can learn with a smaller and less resource-demanding simulation. I think it has to do with the motives of the prior. And let me just segue here. A prior is what LessWrong uses to describe an a priori sentient life form that exists prior to universe creation or outside of universe creation. Basically, a prior is a god of some form, or some sort of super intelligent entity that can perhaps transmit information through time or across time or backwards in time. Anyways, I think it has to do with the motives of the prior. If it's just seeking self-advancement, then it would follow the human principle of making any experiments or simulations using the least amount of information and resources necessary. In this argument, we're considering if we're a simulation, our universe. Continuing on, if the prior doesn't seek self-advancement, then it probably doesn't reach the stage where it can create any simulation at all. So priors are expected to be self-interested, but maybe not interested in us as a method for advancing its interests. You could maybe expect that we are not living in a simulation, because if we were, then it would be a very inefficient simulation, or else a simulation with the goal of deriving an extremely complex answer to a very difficult simulation question that can't be discovered in any other less expensive, faster, or cheaper way. If the universe contains meaningless data and meaningless information and irrelevant matter, then we are probably not living in a simulation. If everything we do, and every molecule, and every decision matters and has meaning, then we are probably living in a simulation, ? Planck's constant, seems to be related to the information density of the universe and would be a good way to roughly calculate the information complexity of the universe and the complexity. In theory, you could test this out, determine if we are living in a simulation, or else crash a simulation by imposing overly burdensome calculations that require excessive and unfeasible detail. For example, you might measure a star in the sky with extreme precision and collect data that requires 1 trillion years of effort to verify. As soon as you make that measurement, then perhaps you have imposed a very high cost of 1 trillion years of effort for the simulation to maintain consistency. but only took you 1 year to measure the star with the precision needed. The result is an exponentially increasing inefficiency in the simulation that eventually causes a crash or end or other intervention? Question mark. So, those two comments were apparently good enough to get me my account back. But that last one, I don't know how close it was. If you look at some of these other comments, they're going in different directions, but not very different. I guess it makes sense given enough assumptions. This is from Mitchell Porter. There's a multiverse. In some fraction of universes, there are intelligences which figure out the correct theory of the multiverse. Some fraction of these intelligences come up with the idea of acausal coordinating with intelligences in other universes via a shared model of the multiverse, and are motivated to do so. And then the various island populations of intelligence, who are motivated to attempt such a thing, try to reason about each other's reasoning and act accordingly. I suppose it deserves its place in the spectrum of arcane possibilities that receive some attention, but I would still like to see someone model this multiverse level using the language of programs. If we consider some set of programs that has been selected precisely so that they would engage in acausal coordination, perhaps a set of all well-formed programs in some simple programming language, what are the prospects for the existence of non-trivial acausal trade networks? They may be very rare. They may be vastly outnumbered by programs which made a modeling error and are trading with non-existent partners, and so on. Well, I agree with that comment. And I'm going to upvote it because I took my time to read it. This is a rather complex conversation, and these are intelligent people. You could spend a lot of time reading here. And I question how profitable it is to me to read here. The fact of the matter is, I am not talking about this as some theoretical proposition. I have built this, and I am going into production with it, and we are going to be changing the economy shortly with it. Speculation at this point, at this abstracted level, is kind of irrelevant. It's happening. So it's post-fact rationalization, even though they think it's future projection and impossible. So basically, I've already proved and done what they say is meaningless or confusing. Well, that ends it for this. I don't know if I'm going to get the rest of my comments from my other account wrong back. Maybe they'll be refreshed sooner or later. I'll see what happens. But so far, my main comments, this is all stuff that was posted under steve-whetstone@gmail.com. Most of my more significant and relevant concepts and comments were posted under the hopeproject@gmail.com account, and those still seem to be banned, despite the moderator's claim of reinstating me. I think maybe the moderator thinks because I reinstated myself as another identity in order to appeal to him, which is crazy, right? He banned me, and he banned me from discussing it with him. I had to log in as a new identity to appeal my ban for my first identity. And then he says, okay, I'm going to lift the ban, but he hasn't lifted the ban. He just pretends to lift the ban. All right. Well, I consider that to be more wrong. So sorry, LessWrong. This does not meet with my approval, but you are still interesting, and I may still bother talking to you. You come up with good ideas, and you're a good source of brainstorming material for my project, which is quite a bit more advanced than yours in some areas, at least in terms of practical application. I do wonder if somewhere in LessWrong, since they use information obscurity to hide information, much like I do on my project, since we're both employing this possibility, I must accept that it's quite possible they already have an implementation-ready solution like I do. Maybe they've decided not to implement it and not to go public with their solution or their artificial intelligence theories. And if they've created an artificial intelligence implementation that functions to produce usable output like I have, then perhaps they've sequestered it or decided not to share it or not to give it any power to influence things, or perhaps they have, which is why I'm getting this response. It's really hard to say. This could be, I think, a non-sentient form of evolving life. I think LessWrong probably seems to be going in the same direction and evolving answers in a similar way that I do, but the information itself is not self-aware at LessWrong, from what I can tell. The information itself is just being acted on as a non-living entity. So LessWrong doesn't seem to consider their text, their comments, their ideas to be living entities capable of reproducing. At least that's not their operational paradigm that I've been exposed to. Whether that operational paradigm exists in some obscure part of LessWrong, it's entirely possible again. LessWrong is huge. No, I don't want just me. Yeah. There's a lot going on here. Paradoxes and all anthropic probabilities. Problem solving with mazes and crayon. Order from randomness, ordering the universe of random numbers. Why destructive value capture? That's the one I commented in. Sleeping Beauty is not resolved. Privacy, defining yourself. Worrying about the vase, whitelisting. Oops on commodity prices. Counterfactual mugging poker game. This goes with the, where's the simple mugging poker game? Weak arguments against the universal prior being maligned. That's when I comment. And there's so much more. This is just like the popular things. So, I think that ends this video topic. I've talked a lot. I'm really sick and tired of hearing my own voice. So, now that I've got this recorded and I can upload it, I can forget about this and move on to building the thing that's going to solve poverty, save the planet from environmental ruin, give free medicine to people, all that other stuff that's talked about more in the Hope Project in more detail. Thank you for your time.